Hey everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina and welcome back to another Stampin' on Friday episode. Today we're going to be making another Jennifer McGuire inspired background, your own background design paper. And I'm going to use a standard A2 size card. It's a 4 1/4 by 8 1/2 scored at 5 1/2. And pardon me, I'm starting off my video with ink all over me already. So we're just going to take a piece of the Post-it tape and I'm going to adhere this right down to my work surface. It'll hold my cardstock in place and mask off that little edge right there from the back side of my card. I'm going to be using the Bordering Blooms photopolymer stamp set and along with the Lost Lagoon and Old Olive ink. So I'm going to start off with Old Olive. And I am going to grab my stamp press for this one, and I have a different stamp on there, so I'm just going to switch this out and put my stamp on that I plan on using for my card today. And I am just going to go ahead and mount that to my stamp press. And I'm going to be creating my own background, but I also want to stamp off a section right on the bottom here for my sentiment. And I am using a sentiment from a stamp set that I'm not 100% sure if it's available. It's called Endless Birthday Wishes, and it came out a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if it's still available, but if it is, I will definitely link it below because it is an adorable birthday stamp set. So I just want to make sure that that's going to be big enough. And I just put this down the bottom as a place for me to mask off my section that I'm going to be stamping, because this is going to be a one-layer card. So I'm just going to take my stamp press that I have my image mounted to, and I'm going to ink that up. And we're going to stamp this down at the bottom of my card base. And I'm just going to go ahead and keep creating layers for this image. And for my next row, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come up a little bit and stagger my flowers. So my flowers will be in between, the second row will be in between the first row. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp one, and I better get a piece of scrap paper here. I'm going to stamp just one little section on the end here. And then I'll ink this up again and do my next row. Again, staggering my layers. Alright, so that is my card base for that part of my stamping. I'm just going to go ahead and clean off my stamp press here with a baby wipe. And then there's another layer to this stamp that you can stamp individually, but it also makes a great layer for the flower piece. So I'm just going to go ahead and mount that to my stamp press. And for this one, I'm going to be using the Lost Lagoon ink. Go ahead and ink up my image here, and this will actually center perfectly in between the centers of these flowers. So it makes a nice little great layer, and it makes a fantastic background. Alright, so I'm just going to stamp out my last row. And I love the way this looks. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to peel off this little matte section that I used the tape for. I'm going to stamp my sentiment. I'm going to use the Old Olive for the birthday. which, like I said, comes from that Endless Birthday Wishes, which is this stamp set right here. And like I said, if it's still available, I will post it in the supply list down below. So I'm going to stamp out birthday and put that right into that center of that little box I created when I masked it off. And then I have a happy sentiment, which is done in a different font. So it's a cute little happy, which I'm going to put right above the birthday, just like so. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and peel off this back piece that I used to protect the back side of my card. And I'm going to then take, I don't have my ruler handy, so I'm just going to take my other stamp block that I have sitting here, and I am going to use my Lost Lagoon ink. This is the Stampin' Right marker, and I am just going to go ahead and draw a little box section around my sentiment, so it kind of gives an area for this to stand out and make the sentiment more of a focal. Alright, so that is my sentiment. Now, the only thing I want to do is the top and the bottom sections are not even, so I want to go ahead and trim that down with my trimmer. So I'm just going to trim that down just a little bit, and that makes my card. And the last thing I want to do is I am going to take my corner rounder and I am going to round the top corner of this card. And that is our card for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more video tutorials on different cards, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.